Right now, the regulations as they exist, because they are so archaic and because they're so static and haven't kept up with medicine, which, as you know, is very dynamic. We're constantly coming up with new research, new studies, new medication, new methods of treatment, new diagnoses even, right? Medicine is always dynamic. But the regs have stayed static. And they're back now. The last time the regs were updated were in the late 80s. So what does that mean for the general public? Well, that means that pilots are not willing to tell the FAA what's going on. They're not willing to seek treatment because they're being judged. They're being treated on new treatment, new medicine that's working for them, but they're being evaluated and judged on medicine from 4 decades ago, right? From 3 decades ago. So what does that mean? It means one of two things. One, we don't tell the FAA what's going on. Or two, we don't even get treatment. We being pilots, we don't even get treatment for fear of the repercussion from the FAA. So how is that making the public safer?
Right.
In fact, it's making the public more at risk because you don't know that maybe the pilot up front, they just had a relative die, or they just got diagnosed with something, and they're not seeking treatment for it because they know the FAA will ground them and take away their entire identity and career.
That's just like what we hear about in certain parts of the military, certain parts of law enforcement, that they can be seen, if something gets put, quote unquote, in their jacket, that they can be seen as either weak or they get taken off of their station, something happens. And so we see the same thing, and it has led to a lack of public safety. So I never thought about it from a pilot standpoint, but that makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that number is staggeringly high of airmen that are lying to the FAA. And along with that, especially during COVID, pilots are not immune to the mental health issues that have plagued everybody through COVID. Pilots are not immune to that. And we have found an increase in pilot suicides since 2020.
Wow.
Because pilots are not willing to get the mental health treatment that the general public can otherwise get, right? Pilots on the old FAA medical form, the pilots have to report. It says that you have to report any physician visit within the last 3 years. And then the fine print says, or any therapist or any counselor or any professional having to do with mental health. So even going and seeing a counselor, a therapist, not receiving medication, not being treated by a psychiatrist, psychologist, just seeing a counselor, that is reportable to the FAA and, truth be told, groundable by the FAA.